Hello students, and welcome to your Critical Lab how-to video. This video will walk you through what to expect and how to do a couple of things when completing your Week 7 Critical Lab. Please know that this is a Part 2 assignment, which means you will have to have the Week 7 Online Lab Part 1 done first. So this assignment here has to be done first in order for you to do this at all. You have the link to your document right here. However, I already have that open. So I am going to open that up, and it's going to be another Excel spreadsheet like we had before. It's a little bit different though. You'll notice that we have just Part 2 directions, and the questions you'll answer are already on this document here. Now, before you begin this assignment, you want to make sure that you've done all the other assignments like I mentioned before, especially the Part 1 lab, because you're going to end up transferring your data into this Excel sheet. And I do have steps on how to do that here. So you'll have to have your Part 1 document open like I mentioned before, and then you want the Part 2 open like I have now. Now, if we go into the other one, and let's say I want to transfer my full marathon tab. I don't have any documentation in that one, so I'm just going to do my overexertion just to show you. But you're going to right click on that tab, and you're going to do move or copy. So you're going to have a book, and it's going to ask you where you want to send it. I want to send it to this one, which is my Critical Lab. That's the other one I have open. And it says before sheet. You can either put it before the directions or after. I suggest moving it to the end. And then click create a copy because you want to keep this in here. So you're going to have the Critical Lab, move to the end, create copy. Hit OK. And now if you notice, I'm right back into my Critical Lab. I'm not even in the other one anymore. So if I look at my directions, I'm back in my Critical Lab. And I now have my tab of instructions that I wanted to have transferred over. So that's your first step in order to move your information so it's easier for you to toggle between those two tabs. And once you have that done, you're going to need to copy and paste the columns that we're going to make a graph out of. And those columns are going to be your VO2 rate column, and it's going to be your kcal per minute, which is calories per minute column. You don't want any units or symbols in there, you want just numbers. So if you have any symbols in those, which you shouldn't, you'll have to manually remove those, but you shouldn't have those in there. So let's go through and I'll show you how to do that. Now, some students like to just copy it to a separate column. Some like to do a completely separate sheet, which you can add by hitting this addition button. So if I go back to my data that I transferred over, I want my rate. And if you click on this C, it highlights the entire column. I can right click and hit copy. Go back to here, right click, paste, and now I have my rate. Next, I need my calories. So I'm going to click on my D column. Right click copy, go back to my sheet, right and B, hit paste, because I want the columns next to each other because that's how I'm going to graph them. So now that I have my columns put in, I want to graph them. And to do that, you're going to need to get rid of your total calories or it's going to throw your graph off like crazy. So if I scroll down here, that's that value I had from my other lab. I'm just going to delete that for this. You scroll all the way back up. And I can click, and then if you click A and then hold the shift button down and then click on B, it'll highlight both columns. You're going to want to go to insert in your Excel spreadsheet, and it'll go to a screen like this that I know you can kind of only half see, but you're looking for the scatter plot chart. So I see this scatter plot. I'm going to hit this little downward caret, and I want to click this scatter plot here. And now I have my graph that I want. You're going to want to change your chart design, and I would go to quick layout and then just hit this first option because that's going to give you your title and your axes labels that you're going to need to add. You do not need a key, so you can get rid of that. So now I have my graph. I just have to change my title by clicking and typing into it. You also want to have a line to fit. So to do that, you're going to click on this data point. You'll see your data points are highlighted when you click on them. And you're going to right click on that point and hit Add Tread Line. And you'll notice that this opens up on the side. You want to make sure linear is selected. And then you want display equation on chart here at the bottom. And you want display R² value. So you're going to have, again, display equation, display R² value, and then linear. And once you have those selected, just hit this close button. And you'll notice now I have that information right here. Now this is pretty close. If you see the R² value, when you have a correlation between your data, the closer this number is to 1, the better. So that's great. We're excited about this equation though. That's what we're going to use for the rest of this assignment. So now if I go back to my directions, I already went through all of the steps here to show you how to do that. You're going to use that graph and your equation to answer these questions. So you'll go through and answer these questions, and then when you're done, you'll submit this as your final piece for your critical assignment. If you have any questions while you're working, let me know. Make sure you save these tabs. I want to be able to see them in here. And then again, once this is done, you either have the optional honors assignment if that is a route you're taking. Otherwise, you are done with week 7 after this assignment.